All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just a few people, but this is our first meeting, and this meeting will be recorded to be viewed again on YouTube and through our social media. So have no fear if you miss anything. Um, as I said, good afternoon. I am Marcus Ramkisoon. I am the leader of the political party, the Trinidad Humanity Campaign. We are a registered political party as of 2014, and we have contested the general election in 2010, 2015, and 2020. So we have been around for quite a while, actually. We haven't engaged in receiving any funding from any particular group or individuals or anything like that. So you find that our campaign methods are a little bit different from what you're accustomed seeing um, in regards to t-shirts and music and trucks and all that. We won't be doing any of that stuff. So one of the reasons we're holding our meetings online now live is due to the short run up before the local government election this year. We only have literally a month before voting day, and in our opinion, at this point in time, one of the easier venues to use to be able to achieve the most reach to our audience at this point may be through the technological means and through our social media and YouTube and so. So that's the direction we intend to go for these meetings at least every weekend. All right, we'll be hosting these every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And today is our first meeting. So do forgive us if we have any little bit of technological difficulties or any issues with those. We're now starting, and we'll be back again tomorrow. The Trinidad Humanity Campaign, as I said, is not a new party. We've been here for quite a while. It's our first time contesting the local government election. We only have a few candidates this time for this local government election, and we will be contesting the Goodwood Glencoe La Puerta seat, the Valsain St. Joseph seat, the Paradise Cora Tacarigua seat, and the Kumuno Tamana seat. So we have four candidates going up for this local government election. Um, what makes us different as a party? And I tell you a lot of things. I've already just mentioned that we're not a party that deals with really funding and accepting financing or so yet. And therefore, we may not be able to campaign the same way regular parties do. But we're here for everything different. We believe that we can bring a total different level of dedication to the representation that everyone deserves from their elected representative. Yes, this is just the council seats, and many people have in mind that local government doesn't really make that much of a difference. But I can tell you that all governance makes that much of a difference, and local governance affects every aspect of our lives the same way central government affects it. How many of you actually know your council from the last period? Not I've taken a little bit of a survey amongst the various citizens in the country, and I haven't noticed a lot of people being able to tell me, well, this person was our counselor in this last period. We've seen this person, we know this person, we communicate regularly with this person. Living, I belong to the Valsain St. Joseph community, and a lot of the residents in this area experience a lot of flooding and so. And council is usually the last call that we make. So this way of thinking about the local governance and about the corporations and councillors need to be changed. We need to realize that these people are representing us on the ground level for a number of different reasons and in a number of different aspects. And we need to be able to have that dedicated representation. We need to be able to have people that's available to us, that make themselves known to us, that we are able as everyday citizens to communicate with and relay the issues within the electoral district to that person. That person needs to be available to us very much more regularly than what we've seen in the past. We also believe that we can bring better, more qualified management and more transparent management of our resources. One of the biggest aspects one of the biggest, I should say, prospects that we're campaigning on is the ability to bring transparency to governance. Of course, we would be starting at local governance, but we would bring it from there and go forward. What do we mean by bringing transparency to local governance? Well, I believe that if I'm elected and our candidates are elected, what we believe we are able to do is from the moment we go to work in the mornings to the time we return in the evenings, we will be able to put that job to you through video, right? Through YouTube, through social media, giving you the ability, if you want, to see every aspect of our job from all contracts, all projects, all estimated costs, all income, all revenues, all expenditures, and not just, we don't intend to say, okay, we spent X amount on this project, there you go. No, 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 no. What we've been pushing since the previous general elections through our manifesto is that we, the people, deserve. I mean, we are the owners of the country. We deserve to see every aspect of the finances of the country. So we believe that every invoice, even, should be scanned and put on our website so that everyone will have the ability to see this is what was paid for this by this person from this entity, anything like that. And we will be able to trace the finances, right? Because knowing what the total cost of a project is gives no idea as to what the breakdown is. You don't know if someone is paying $10,000 for a hammer and $1,000 per nail, right? So we need to see the actual breakdown of the cost, and it's something that maybe a long time ago was a little more difficult to achieve because of the level of technology. But in the day and age we live in now, there's nothing preventing us from putting every aspect of the governance of the management to you publicly, so you the people, we the people, can see publicly what is happening in this regard. So that's one of the main aspects we intend to bring in terms of our governance, and we hope that you will agree with that aspect. Now, what I've been informed by my IT guy today is that since we're doing the Facebook Live from the phone, I may not be able to receive calls or be able to view the WhatsApp messages. So just for today, I'd like to ask everyone who is viewing if you would like to call in, if you'd like to send messages, your questions, your comments, anything like that, have us respond to your particular question. Please use the phone number 303-6165. That's 303-6165. I'm going to put it into the chat now on YouTube so that you'll be able to call in or message us with your questions and comments. So, one of the points that I would like to discuss before even being asked about it, because it seems that in every community that we've visited, every person that we've spoken to, the main question that comes up, although we are seeking to be elected to represent in local governance, the main question that comes up still is crime. Right? Crime has become the major issue in the country. I've said on a number of public platforms that I'm saddened to see the state that the country has reached. I believe we seem to have accepted some level of a dystopian world whereby one of us will be sacrificed every day, because that's what it's come down to. Every single day in this country, someone loses their life, and we are a people that we don't really feel it, think about it, seem to be concerned about it until it reaches our doorstep. But so many people have been affected by crime in this country now. It's time to do something. It's time to make a change. What can we do? At the level of local governments, it's a little bit difficult to address crime in the country, obviously. Just to let those of you listening know, what we have suggested to the government through official and unofficial means are a series of points towards our policy proposals towards the reduction of crime. And the major point, I think we have a list of about 12 points that we've taken from our manifestos over the years. But the major point, and one of the things that we would like to see in the country, I know we're shifting away from the discussion a little bit of local governance, but just to let you know what we think, we believe that an immediate move can be made to bring immediate results in the reduction of crime. How? Increased police presence and visibility. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, every almost every research study in the world that has touched on the investigation, the study of the benefits or the risk of increased police presence and visibility has shown that serious crime, especially, becomes drastically or substantially reduced when you increase police presence and visibility. Now, should we just go on the research since the research hasn't been actually done in Trinidad? Well, I can tell you that we've actually experimented with this in Trinidad very successfully. If you'll remember, in 2009, there was the fifth summit of the Americas, uh, to which the then US President Barack Obama attended. And we implemented a particular plan which involved, when I say we, I mean the commissioner of police of the day, that was James Filbert, implemented a plan whereby the regiment and the police would work together. Of course, this would involve government since the regiment is coming in, and they put officers from the regiment and police in police vehicles at every major intersection and at the entrances and exits to various high crime areas along the entire east-west corridor. Well, not the entire, straight up to Arima, apparently. And going from Shagaramas to Arima, there were simply an increased presence and increased visibility. You couldn't cross a major intersection without seeing a police vehicle there. And what ended up happening is that I do not have the official reports from the Crime and Problem Analysis branch of the TTPS yet, but the newspapers of the day all reported a drastic reduction in crime. I believe one of the papers quoted 96%. I don't want to really requote that figure until I have the statistics, but that was the level of reduction that we've seen, and that was in the week leading up to the summit and the days of the summit. So this is a tried, tested, and proven method here in our country, in Trinidad and Tobago, resulting in a drastic reduction in crime. And it's a method that won't take any level of increased resources in terms of increased monies or finances towards the project, towards purchasing of more vehicles or hiring of more officers. Because, excuse me, one moment. Sorry, because in that timing back in 2009, we would have had a lot more resources than we do now in terms of vehicles and personnel. So, in that regard, this strategy that we're proposing would simply be an organizational strategy, a reorganization of the existing resources to be able to place them in a method that, again, has been tried, tested, and proven here in Trinidad and Tobago to bring results and to bring immediate results for that matter. And we should be able to see a drastic reduction in serious crime, especially the murder rate, almost overnight. Why hasn't the TTPS implemented a plan like this? Yes, is beyond me. Again, we've put it forward. We've put it forward to the Minister of National Security. We've put it forward to the Commissioner of Police, both in writing and verbally, and we await for some level of change to be implemented. What can the THC do at the level of the corporation? We can try. I, as a councillor, if elected as a councillor, would try to work with the police within the electoral district to be able to formulate particular routes and times for patrols. Therefore, since we would not have the ability to change what's happening in the entire country, but we can make changes within the electoral district, we can start to lead by example. Simply, we can start working with the TTPS within the district. We can start organizing with them to use their existing resources, depending on the number of vehicles they have and personnel they have, their shifts and all that stuff, and work out, where there may be higher levels of crime taking place, maybe increase patrols regularly in those areas, still have patrols in other areas where you may not see the level of crime taking place that highly. But again, to bring about that increased visibility and presence, what would this do? This, just like the original plan for the entire country, would have an effect to deter persons from engaging in a criminal activity, because they now know that they have less of a chance to escape. Their escape routes are now covered, each one of them, right, by officers within vehicles, right, who are not just there standstill, but they're allowed to move. So the, that's one aspect of it. The next aspect of it, it reduces the response time drastically because you don't need to have officers coming from the station to the point of the origin of the call or anything like that. But they would be already partway there on patrols, on appointed stop points or anything like that, and they would be able to respond to it faster. All this comes together to deter the criminal element from actually engaging in crime. We at the corporation can, especially now with the local government law reform, where there's expected to be a greater annual budget through the collection of the residential property taxes to the corporation. Something I'm not in total agreement of realistically, but that's the law, that's how it will work, and there will be increased resources, we hope. Why can't we use these increased resources from the corporation level to start placing camera systems, hiring a monitoring entity to be able to set up basically a little operation center, right? A community corporation operation center whereby maybe set it up with the police in conjunction with at the police station if they allow it. All these things have to be discussed, but nothing is preventing us from taking some of the finances and securing the corporation, the community within the corporation, the communities, sorry, within the corporation a little more by effecting better public safety, right? Things that we can do things within our corporation on a smaller level than what has been being done by central government in the country. And again, we can lead by example, right? When if we are able to place cameras in a number of areas in St. Joseph, Valsay, and Bamboo, let's say in this corporation, right? What then happens? We're able to say, look, we took the limited resources we have at the corporation, right, and outfitted this area with enough cameras where there's an increase in the level of security than we had before. Why isn't central government applying our country's resources to do this in different areas? And that's the direction we intend to go, right? But definitively, one of the main things that you will see is the transparency aspect, and everything that we encounter, you will encounter. It's almost as if you will be elected to the job. If you want to see and when, everything will be online, everything will be available for you to see at your choice of timing. So we really hope that you guys see that new people can make a difference, that there are other people willing to do the job, people that are not just, as a lot of people like to say, coming out of the woodwork. As I've said, for those who are now tuning in, we at the Trinidad Humanity Campaign have been registered since 2014. I have contested the general election in 2010, and the party has contested in 2015 and 2020. We are actually the fourth largest party in the 2020 general election out of 19 contesting parties. Not a lot of people actually know there were 19 contesting parties at the 2020 general election. But I do implore all of you to pay more attention to what is happening in the politics of the country, whether at the level of central government or local government, because politics affects our everyday lives, and we may have grown complacent by accepting what has been presented to us thus far. Not knowing in some cases who our counselor is, knowing who our counselor is but never seeing them, knowing who our counselor is, seeing them around election time, and then never hearing from them again and never being able to reach them. These things makes no sense. A person elected to a position should be dedicated to do that job in that position, especially in positions of governance. I mean, not everyone puts themselves forward towards governance, and it's a service position. We should be available to you 24/7. This is what we're getting ourselves into. We want to get into this to be able to help our fellow citizens, right, within our communities, within our country. We want to see our country grow for the better. We want to see our country become safer, healthier, right, more enjoyable, a better quality and standard of living, right? But we also live in a country where we have a terrible system of tribal politics. And one of the questions raised to us on our Facebook site recently by well, I don't know if the person was a follower or not, but they were questioning, what would we as third and fourth and fifth parties do besides split the vote? And I had to explain that the term splitting of the vote comes across very negative in our country, but realistically, that only applies to a two-party system. If you have a system with 10 competing parties equally, then you're not really going to be splitting the vote. People are supposed to vote. Our rights, our democratic rights, and our laws are based on the rights of people to vote for anyone they choose that they believe can represent them best on issues, right? What we have is people choosing to vote people who could best represent them on color of their party, it seems. And I think it's time that needs to stop. In the three consecutive times we have run for the general election, uh, a lot of the questions that have come to us is that what will you all do? You all are not experienced, and I don't know where people expect someone to become experienced in government without placing them into that position of government in the first place, right? So this time we are contesting the local government election with the hope that our supporters thus far would see the opportunity to give us a chance, for lack of better words, to see if we can do what we say we will do at the level of local governance. And we would hope that, of course, if we can prove to our citizens that we can do what we say we would do at the level of local governance, then citizenry should have no problem looking at us seriously for the position of management in central government. So, this is something that I advise all citizens, please, please look at all the representatives in front of you. Try and let go just for a minute the ideal of the tribal politics and I belong to this party, so I must vote for this party. You'll remember the counselor from a particular one of the well, two large parties, of course, but from one of those parties that ended up going to a meeting of the other party, and his party had a lot of problems with it. I'm not going to call the names of the parties online, and you all can figure it out. His party had a lot of problems with it because it wasn't. It appeared as if he was crossing the floor. What is he as a counselor for this party doing in a meeting of the other party and all that stuff? And all that gentleman really wanted to do, from my understanding, is to achieve the best and most benefits for his community and for his electoral district that he represented. In which case, he realized that working with the other party, who also had seats within the corporation, would make things easier going forward. Why fight? Why not work together? Isn't isn't the job about bringing the best results for all our citizens? That includes us. We are citizens also. Our families, our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, our children, they are citizens too. So who are we doing the job for? Aren't we supposed to be doing the job for them? For everyone? So I just sometimes, and do forgive me, folks, because sometimes I do get a little frustrated and passionate about this because at some level I am tired of what is being presented to us, what we've seemed to have become complacent and accepting as a citizenry, and I just think it's time that we make a change. I just think that it's time that we realize that, look, here's other people that are dedicated. This is not a they're, of course, there are people that now, and I'm not discounting any political candidate or political party, even those that are now contesting this election as their first time contesting. That's not the point. But the point is, if people are saying, well, look, who are these people? Are they really going to be dedicated? Well, look, there are a number of contestants in this local government election that have contested multiple elections, that have continued to fight for the benefit of the people before being elected. And that's not the easiest thing to do, to get involved into politics of the politics before being elected is not the easiest thing to do, and you get a lot of rejection for it at a lot of times. But those people seem to be very dedicated. We, going forward, have been trying and continue to try. We remain undaunted. We receive as a small party a lot of negativity and a lot of negative comments. Who are you all, where you come from, and all this sort of thing. And if you take a look at our social media, especially Facebook, you will see how we respond to all these comments. We do not delete comments unless they have profanities in them, because we accept that children are able to view the Facebook page also, and we don't believe that profanities should be used on any public platform. So we really try to make a difference from that aspect and in that regard towards the politics. I see it's now 6:37, and we do only have just a few viewers. Again, it's our first meeting, and hopefully when this video goes out from the recorded version, a lot more people will be interested in hearing what we may have to say. I remind you that today you are welcome to WhatsApp us or call us on 303-6165. That's 303-6165. It's in the YouTube chat. And, we're here to answer any of your questions, anything that you might feel concerned about, specific questions as to what you may think or what you might want to see from your community and in your area. So we're here. So I'll ask my IT guy to check the phone, make sure that anybody has, all right. So we do. Okay, what is it? 1 second. So, of course, flooding is okay. So someone asked, and that person is from, right? So from my constituency in Val Saint Joseph, we do experience within the bamboo communities and Val Saint, even North and South Val Saint, Spring Village to the back of the UTT there now, is we do experience a lot of flooding in that flat land. The back there is right next to the rice fields. The river bank is just behind, and the water does overflow the bank sometimes. One of the main things we would look to do, especially within this constituency, this electoral district I'll speak to, is look primarily at working with the other public utilities, right, in conjunction. We don't want to go cleaning up stuff that we have to discuss with public utilities. And together, we would look at a holistic a cleanup of the system, a full review of the system, if you will, the drainage system, that is, right? We understand how drainage works, right, and the flow system. And that's why we say we'd have to work with public utilities to achieve all the directions, the flows, the maps of the actual drainage systems that are there, and work towards a full cleanup, preferably in the dry season before the rain starts, right? Because that makes it a lot more difficult to get down there and get in there. And what we intend to do that's a little bit different from what you may have seen is we intend to use some of the resources at the corporation to bring in some modern technology to be used in this aspect of the cleaning up of the draining networks and so forth. Many of you, especially the younger folks, spend a lot of time on the social media, look at a lot of reels and so on Facebook and Instagram. This is actually one of the places that I've seen it a lot more. There's some new, smaller, remote control operated equipment that are made specifically for the clearing and cleaning of drainage networks and are being used and applied in developed countries. They're new devices and new equipment that have only really been developed within the last decade or so, and hence the reason that it's been used in the more developed countries more. But this is one of the things that we intend to bring to our country using the resources, because they're not very expensive. It's not, and again, through the transparency that we're promising, everyone will be able to see exactly how much we paid for it, where we purchased it from, and all that stuff. So don't worry about the transparency aspect. But it's much easier to, and not saying either that, oh well, the equipment might take away jobs from the people who actually go into the drains and scrub and clean and pull out stuff. It can, to a point, but if we look at rearranging the resources, then those individuals can end up getting to do a better quality of work, and that really harder stuff, right? The stuff that is a little more dangerous to the health of the person, especially that's doing the operation, can be done by remote control. Why aren't we using the technology that's available to us? So this is a question to me. Comment? But no. All right. So yes, so that's one of the aspects that we would be looking in terms of the drainage. And of course, if we address this on time and early within the period of our hopeful representation, then we would be able to see the positive changes and the results from it very quickly, by the next rainy season. And we should be able to see a drastic reduction in flooding. I am not taking away from the fact that the corporations has already been doing some work, right? Where I live in Valsine, actually, we used to have about an easy 4 feet of flood in front of the house. And even when the rain stopped, that level of water would have remained for 4 or 5 hours. What I've noticed now is that, in as much as we still get that height of water, half an hour after the rain stops, the water is drained. So work has been done, and we're not trying to take away from what's been done. We're saying what we believe we can do better, right? And even if not elected, we continue to push these ideas to the persons who are elected, the parties that are elected, to try to achieve this change in our country. It's no secret. Our plans and proposals are not, we are secret to us and this is our thing. No, we always, this is something that we're accustomed doing at the THC. Any plan and proposal that we may have that we think can bring positive change to the country, we put it forward to the government, we put it forward to the opposition, we put it forward to those in authority in that particular area. If it's the crime situation, we put it forward to the commissioner of police and areas of like that. So we do try to make the necessary changes, even when we're not elected, and even if we're not elected. We just hope that after this level of perseverance, that you, the people, can see it in your way to give us the opportunity to actually be able to have the position to manage and see just how much more we will be able to do, just how much change we will be able to bring to our electoral districts. And I get excited about it sometimes. I go to bed at night. Last night I was before I sleep, all I could think about is, really, these are the things that could be done. I could really, just to be frank with you, I really wish that the electorate could see it in their hearts to give us the opportunity, because this is the only way I think we can see real change. Right? I am 41 years old, right? And I have seen in the last 25 years, from me being really aware a little bit of what is happening around me politically and within the corporations and stuff, I've seen no changes. I've listened to some of our old calypsos from the 1970s and stuff, most focused on politics. Some at the central government level, some at the local government level, and same problems. So, and this is sad. It's saddening, because how can we live in a country where we elect governance both at the central government level and the local government level, and decades pass without any real changes? We live in a country with oil, and there's so many communities. I think the minister of public utilities commented in parliament recently. I'm trying to remember the figure. I don't want to quote too high. I feel safe at saying 11%. I think it was something like 20 something, yeah? But I feel safe at saying 11% of persons within the country have no access to water. What? So what these people, what we in 2023, they have oil. We spend hundreds of millions of $80 million a mile, 80 million dollars a mile to pave the roads. Whereas if the corporation was doing it, it would not cost us more than 8, because we have a pitch lake. All we is import is the aggregate. We have the machinery, we have everything else. You telling me this money could not go to supply pipe-borne water to people who's never had it in our country? Voting citizens, whether they're voting or not, they're human beings. Right? We just went through we're still going through it to a point, but we just went through 3 years of a pandemic where the major advice coming from all those in authority was sanitation, proper sanitation methods. Wash your hands. If these people don't have access to pipe-borne water, how do you expect them to wash their hand? I don't get it. So again, we really hope to see some level of change. We will continue to push our ideals of change, whether elected or not, and we would hope that the citizenry within our country would see it within their way to give someone a chance who can really potentially do something different. When you vote a local government councillor from a large party, that person is mandated to operate by the party rules. That person is not allowed to do what they want, right? It's the same thing within the central government, within the parliament, right? You might have a senator from a particular party wanting to say something that's different from the party view, and they are not allowed to because they have to sign documents stating that they must vote together with the party, what they call caucus voting, right? No matter what. We would never do that, right? Each individual is supposed to be able to make their own decisions, right? And vote and state the matters that they believe in, how they believe they should, right? No one is supposed to be responsible. We had one of the political parties in the country, the leader of that party, coming out in their public platforms this year, I believe, and saying, party before country. What madness is this? Party before country? We at the THC are not about that. We are country before everything else. We are the people before everything else. We are humanity before anything else. Why Trinidad Humanity Campaign? Well, Trinidad, because in us talking to Tobagonians, we believe that the Tobagonians want Tobago to be an independent state, and we do support that. Or we at the very least support more resources going to Tobago to be able to help Tobago become self-sustainable. A desalination plant for water, an electricity producing plant to produce enough electricity for the island, enough agriculture and food production to supply the island, self-sustainability. So Trinidad, humanity, because we're based on the principle, the first principle that we're based on is humanity, is the aspect that we are all humans and we should be treating each other the way that we expect ourselves to be treated, and we should be doing for each other what we expect for ourselves. The basic aspects of humanity. Why campaign? Because you know why? It seems to us that political parties everywhere, but especially in this country too, right, seem to be at their best when they're in campaign mood, when it's before an election and they're campaigning. So we want to always be seen as being in this campaign mood, right? Always at our best, always working for you, always working for each other, and always trying to get the best possible results for all citizens of our country, right? Within the burgesses, within the communities, within the electoral district, within the country, as best as possible, right? So we continue to strive and we continue to go forward, and we really hope that you give us the opportunity to listen to us and hear what we have to say, hear who we're about, what we stand for. We do welcome all questions, comments from everybody. We ask that we keep extremely restricted on profanities. We are not going to entertain that in any public meeting. Do be aware that this is social media, and our children, your children, have access to it. Lead by example. Come on, you know. So, what more can I say to you guys this evening? I see no one has taken yet the opportunity to call in or WhatsApp. We do only have one. Huh? Yeah, if someone did try to call just now, 303-6165, I'm being told by my phone operator. um, so you're welcome to call back. We have just about 10 minutes in the meeting again. We're not strict on time. If it goes over because we have to answer questions, we will. If not, then we cut it off at 7. But you're welcome to call back if you're still listening with your comments and your questions, 303-6165. We will be continuing these meetings every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So look out for us again tomorrow at 6 p.m. and again on Sunday at 6 p.m. We would hope that this would be the best way to reach the most people within our burgesses, during this short lead up time before the election. And we will hope that for those of you who are listening, if you like what we've said, if we've sparked or piqued a little bit of your interest, intrigued you a little bit, so that you're curious to learn more about us, please subscribe to our channel, please follow our page, like, share, let all your friends, your family know. There is more people and other people here that are willing to be of service to us within the country, and willing to do a better job, not have to work with any particular a large party or organization, and therefore able to state our views as we view them. We don't have to change our views, change our opinions because of, again, party voting and caucus voting. We can do what we need to, right? And we can bring the change that is necessary, that is long wanted, that is well deserved by this country. I honestly hope that at some point the electorate sees the need for this change, and we know we can be. We just really hope that you allow us to. Yes, we have a question coming in. What is it? Well, I've gotten that question before on the on our Facebook page. Did do a little write up response in response to that question from someone. Someone asked, "Who am I?" So, okay, you've heard who the THC is and who the Trinidad Humanity Campaign is, what we've stood for, how long we've been in operation. Been the fourth largest party out of 19 contesting parties in 2020. Who is Marcus Ramkissoon, the leader of the Trinidad Humanity Campaign? I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm now 41 years old. I've had my secondary school education at St. Mary's College in Port of Spain, where I studied business subjects. I immediately, and during business subjects, actually ended up studying for science O levels and completed both business and science at the O level level. I then went on to do pre med in St. George's University in Grenada. And from there, after almost completing the program in 3 years, I decided I wanted to switch to alternative medicine. I did a little bit of acupuncture and chiropractic in California. I finished, by the way, St. George's University with my bachelor's degree in life sciences. I went on to California. I ended up coming home due to some unexpected causes and ended up engaging in business. And from there, I actually entered in the cannabis industry. Realized that there was a lack of education and academics from the professional speakers at cannabis conferences and so around the world, and sought to become educated in that aspect. I have since achieved just a little over 100 certifications in that field, about 70 of them accredited, inclusive of a Master of Science degree, a US accredited Master of Science degree in that field. I am now pursuing, from that field, I've been able to work very closely with governments in the region, being hired as their sole consultant to write their primary and secondary law on cannabis. I've been able to work with the attorney generals in a number of countries, the prime ministers, a number of ministers very closely between 2018 to 2020. And I've seen what the job requires in terms of management, and it's something that I'm very interested in. I think I'm built for. I continue to pursue my education towards my goal of leadership. I believe that politics is management, right? A country is supposed to be run as a business to be able to bring more revenue than expenditure. Do you know that when a country's budget is surplus, a country is really supposed to issue a check back to all tax-paying citizens? This is what is called a surplus in the budget, and gosh, it slipped my mind now. But basically, you get a check from the government at the end of the year because the government has managed your resources so well that they've profited in the end. Not a deficit budget like what we continuously see in this country, whereby we lose money, but we've made money, right? And that money goes back either into the savings of the country or direct to the citizens. Countries like Dubai issues a check every year. Is Dubai that much wealthier than us in Trinidad? And really, by population size versus, well, we're only one out of 8 the size and population of Dubai and a GDP, right? So realistically, we are a very wealthy country. Problem that I see is not proper management of our resources. If one had a company and you had 1,000 shareholders in the company, it is not reasonable for 1,000 people to manage the company as the board of directors. So what do? They vote and elect a group of people, 10, 20, how much ever, to manage the company. This is what we do every 3 years in local government and every 5 years in central government. We, the owners, we birthright citizens to this country, are the owners of all the public resources in the country. This is why you see something called GDP per capita, right? Per population size per person within the country. This is the amount of the GDP that is yours, right? Because you own it, it's yours. But we all can't manage the country, so we elect a team to manage the country. And my question is this, keep asking it every 5 years, every few years. If I have a business and I elect a manager to manage that business, and that manager doesn't do very well, what do? I elect another manager. If that second manager doesn't do very well, what do I do as a business owner? Don't I go out there and seek new talent, qualified talent, and try to elect a separate, unique third manager? Why is it that we in this country, when the first manager do poorly, we elect a second manager? When the second manager do poorly, we go back and we elect the original first manager. Have we closed our minds to the fact that there are more qualified people in the country that can do the job? I don't know. Again, to me, I find it sad. Because 1.4 million people, University of the West Indies, University of Trinidad and Tobago, so many qualified people. People complaining, oh, we have degrees and we can't get a job. So many qualified people, but we insist as a country that only two particular parties can do the job, and when they do get the opportunity to do the job, they don't do the job very well, right? They overpay for all the projects by not 10%, 10 times, right? 1,000% in some cases, right? And we continue to go. You'll remember the $2 million flag? That was one of the things that got me into elections in the first place. Right? When I heard the cost of that flagpole and that flag, and I had to ask, well, where's the gold? Where's the diamond top? $2 million? Where the money going? Right? And this is our money. You pay taxes. This is your money. Right? We need to make a change in this country. Now is the time for a change. It has been the time for a change for the longest while. Now is just yet another opportunity for the electorate to use reason, to use sensibility, and to try to effect a change in our country. We here at the Trinidad Humanity Campaign will continue to strive for the betterment of every citizen in our country. We will continue to strive for the betterment of the policy, betterment of enforcement, betterment of the standard and quality of living for every single citizen in this country. This is what we're here for. This is what we believe in. This is what we stand for. We would like to invite you officially to join us tomorrow and Sunday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on our YouTube channel at Trinidad Humanity Campaign, and on our Facebook. And well, we didn't do Instagram today, and we don't know if we'll do it tomorrow, but at least on the Facebook social media, we'll do live on both channels, and we invite you to share, tell your friends, tell your family, call us, message us, ask your questions. Come on, grill us, give us the tough ones, Let us see if we are able to show you, at least at this stage, something that you've been looking for, something that we all have been looking for, right? Realistically. Now it's 7 p.m. We thank you very much for your time this evening. We thank you for joining us. We hope tomorrow to have more people in with us. Of course, we understand that it's a building experience. I thank all the viewers and listeners today. I actually wasn't expecting anybody today. I was expecting to put it out with zero viewers and let it build from the recording. But I am appreciative that we do have a few in today, so I'm thankful for that. So everybody have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the rest of tomorrow. And hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow evening with some more views from us here at the THC. Thanks again. Have a good one.